G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Now today, part 3 of the National Portable Valve Radio. Now today we'll be looking at, well, the alignment eventually. I've put new cables in, the cloth cables, and we'll be putting the plugs on these for the batteries. We're fixing the speaker up. You'll see a bit of damage here shortly. And mounting him back on. We've repainted the dial pointer to make it look a bit prettier. We've got to do something with the dial to clean it. I don't know what we're going to do with this. We'll try and clean him up a bit. I will scan it so that it can be reproduced. But yeah, probably keep it fairly authentic. The back of it, yeah, well, it's got some of that horrible black stuff, whatever was used. Certainly won't be using anything like that again. The front of the radio, well, we've cleaned it up a bit, so yeah, everything should fit fairly well there. Okay then, so the first thing here is I'm going to fit another tag strip in here for the speaker connections, and just so there's another little tag strip in here to mount these fellas on. Seeing this isn't the original, you saw me put this in, so yeah. And if you're not following this, up here somewhere, probably, I don't know where it is, it's up the top there somewhere, it's one of the corners, is a link to the first video on this, the introduction to it. So if you want to go back and see where this started. Okay, let's get on with it. Right, well, now it's time to fit the speaker. So at the moment, the terminals look okay. Everything looks good there. But our felt in here, as you know, has got a hole in it, and yeah, doesn't look real good. So we'll replace that. We'll get some new screws. These ones were fairly rusty in this thing. They were terrible. And remount the speaker on this. Give this a bit of a clean up, and it should be ready to go. Now there's some sharp edges on this metal too, so we'll take them off. Sort of, all for the life of me, looks to be homemade, this thing, but it's obviously not. Okay, let's do that, and I'll be back. Okay, not much use of me talking, guys. It's pouring rain in here at the moment, and all you'll probably hear is rain on the roof. So, yeah. Anyway, the old felt's out. Let's cut a new one, put him in. Looking good. And no scraping, which is good. Now, what I've done over here, I've taken off the other tag strip, the little 3 terminal, and I've put a 5 terminal in, the centre one being a ground, which is not used at the moment. We've got our B+ line on that one, our negative line there, which goes down to your switch, which switches our negative line to turn it on and off. And these two are the secondary from the transformer for your speaker. And I've taken those wires down through the back here and left them. I've just used ordinary wire for these, flexible, it doesn't get in the road, and these will be long enough to put the speaker aside of the radio when we're working on it. Okay, so that's why that length. Twisted pair, don't know why, looks better. Okay, so this cable has to be tucked in here a little bit. Yep, so there, we'll get there. Now the reason I didn't put another tag strip over here for a separate one for the power or the speaker is because our arts and peace sticker's there. I don't want to interfere with that. I want that left as is. So we drilled out the rivet and used the same hole to mount the tag strip as where the previous one was. So there's no difference to the radio. Okay, next job. Mounting the speaker on this and getting it ready to wire. And then I'll bring this back when, well, I might show you doing this, putting these battery plugs on. Okay, so we'll do that now. Now, these battery plugs, they're that type. This is for the B battery. This is for a 45-volt battery. 3 pins, 1 locating pin and a negative and a positive. The positive is the larger. Is it the larger? No, all these ones are the same size, actually. It's because they've got a locating pin. So take care when you're pulling these out. Do one at a time, which I'm going to, so that you know the positive comes on this one. Now, this one has a little bit of corrosion around, which I'll clear up now before we put this in. And probably the same with this one. Yeah, there's a little bit of corrosion just around the bottom of him. So yeah, we'll make it look a little bit nicer than what it is. Alright guys, well there's our plugs for the batteries, the two 45-volt batteries. Now these are not parallel, these are in series inside, as you saw. The schematic, it does show that there's series connection on the plugs. I have done it in the radio, not on the plugs. It doesn't matter which way you do it. So yeah, to make this just a little bit neater so that we haven't got a wire between them, they're separate, and yeah, the connection's done inside the radio. On the A battery, which is our 1.5, I don't know what Carl's using on this. He has contacted me and said that he wants to use a battery eliminator, which he has. So I'm wiring it as per what the batteries were. You can always get clips to go over these anyway if it's not right. So, okay, now, next thing, we've got to put in the dial because it's alignment time. So everything else has basically been done. You've probably saw me on the last video or this one, putting these plugs on for the batteries. All that's wired up, everything's right. We're using the speaker leads, we're using the external speaker, makes it easier for peaking the IFs and so forth. Got no idea how all this is going to go yet, but what I need first off is the dial pointer, which is around there somewhere, we have painted, and now it's time to put the dial on. So we'll glue him on there. I don't know how serious to get with the glue on this one because, well, there was heaps of glue on there before, although it should never have to come off. But what we're going to have to do with this one, when it was in the case before, the dial was a little bit high and you couldn't read along the top of it. The New South Wales, Sydney stations and that were missing, was a little bit high. So this is, yeah, put it temporarily and put it in the case and find out exactly how high it has to, well, sit on this. Now, the other thing with the case is the loop antenna is in the case on the lid. We need that separate going, so we're going to do restore the case a little bit, the best we can. And also in this video, we'll take the lid off the case, and that way we can connect in our loop antenna for the final bit of the alignment, the RF alignment. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, now what I want to do is, as I said, position this in here, and yeah, just adjust the actual dial cardboard so that it fits nicely in this window. Now, I have to take the lid off anyway. We've got to check the loop, and all this is part of the case restoration anyway. So I think first off, we'll take this off, get rid of it, and it'll make positioning the dial, well, a lot lighter, and we haven't got this here, considering we've got to take it off anyway. Okay, so all it is, a couple of screws either side, and I'll lift him off. We've got to do the handle and bits and pieces, but all that's part of the case. But we need the loop to align this. Okay, I'll take them out and we'll set it all up, and I'll be back. Right, well, there's always one screw, isn't there? It's this fella here. I can't get this top one because it's in under the cover of the lid, and we've got to pull the whole thing apart. This one is part of the case, but I can't get to it. The nut's seized on. I can't get to the other side because it's underneath here. The top has to be lifted up. Now, just looking at it, I'm going to put some gentle heat just along the side where it's glued. This is glued in, but it's not very strong glue. So I'm just warming it just to make it a little bit easier. This is Bakelite, and we've got a Perspex cover, or the dial cover is a little bit of Perspex, which I will be replacing anyway. It's pretty ordinary. Now, there he comes. Okay, nothing broken yet. Okay, can we get this one? Yes, that one's out. This is good. Now, just a matter of gently easing this backwards. Here we go. Okay. Gently either end. There we go. And there's the glue that was holding it, which, yeah, is not much glue. They put plenty on, but it wasn't holding by much. And the Perspex, well, yeah, wow. That's something else, that. This will clean up nice. This is nice Bakelite, and yeah, this will be the feature of the radio, I would say. Now, here's our nuts that we can see, and we can get to them. This one, boy, he's I don't know what we're going to do with him. We're probably going to have to saw him off or something similar. Yeah, I'll try and get a socket on it. I have soaked it in WD. We're going to try it again. And I'll also soak these ones in because all this does has to come off eventually. Well, guys, we did get the nut off the screw with the socket. There he is. Boy. And he is rusted solid. But anyway, couldn't have been too solid. We did get him out. Now, we take this one off our lid. I'll have to have a look. When we pull the lid apart, we'll have a look at what these screw into the lid. There's obviously a nut or a plate or something on the back there. And yes, now we can work on it. And as you can see, the hinge is there, but it's in underneath this. So we've got to find out what's going on under there. This thing is nailed down. This is the cover for the loop antenna. It's got to come off. We want to check everything as well as fix up these hinges. So yeah, that's part of the other restoration, the cabinetry. So yeah, we can use this as our loop antenna when we're aligning the radio. That's really why I need this off this. But we also need the radio in here to align the dial. So let's do that next. Righto guys, well I've put a couple of screws in the chassis and fastened this fella back in. Now, if we turn him up the other way here, it's basically how he goes. Although I really need that one in that side, don't I, as well? Yeah, let me get a screw here. I'll put him in there. Okay, we've got another screw on the other side. So now we can tip him upside down like this and put our cover on, back on, and line our dial up behind this so that when we glue it on to the backing, it makes a little bit more sense than what it did. And this will have to just push in. It's certainly not glued or anything at the moment. So yeah, that's what we've got to do. Line him up behind this. Okay, go and get the dial and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, okay. I haven't recorded a lot of this because there's been too much swearing on it. Yeah, trying to get this dial. Like, there's our cardboard, so we've got to get it. We've got the sides worked out, so they go there, and I think just down slightly on the top will work out pretty well. Now, I think what I'll do here, this is coming off anyway, is take our old bit of perspex off, which is going to be replaced for sure. It's only sitting there. There we go. Fairly thin, and yeah, doesn't look real good, does it? Okay, this will make it a little bit easier in lining this thing up anyway. Okay, there's the top in. So now I can put my fingers through here and line this thing up where it should be so that we can see along the top. I don't know whether I'll try and show you guys that. As you can see, you've got Sydney and number 2 for New South Wales there. This is in Australia, by the way, and Sydney. And we can still see the meters. You probably can't see it on the camera, but yeah, see what I mean? But you have got the meters along the bottom there. Well, is it meters or? No, it's kilocycles, actually. So, yeah, in around there. Now, what I've got to do here is gently, ever so gently, lift it up, have a look at where it is. Okay, it's just as I thought, just down from the top slightly, ever so slightly. Yeah. And once we put this on, we can put our needle on and our dial needle, and then we can align this. But without this is why we sort of need to do a little bit of cabinet work as well as this. About a millimetre down, and that would be fine. Okay, so it just hangs over the edge here, and obviously the dial pointer goes on somehow like so. It just clips over the wire, over the dial cord, and runs along here. Now we've got to get this fairly flat, this section. So the best thing here, I think, that there's a lot of rubbish on the back of this, which is unfortunate. I sort of can't get it off either. I might try and scrape a little bit more off, but pretty hard. Contact cement, I think, is going to be the thing. Spray this, put it on, and yes, it'll be a oncer, but I think that's the only way of doing it. Okay, I'll get this ready and we'll spray it, put it on, and then I'll bring this back. You don't need to see me do that in case I make a mistake. Don't need Carl seeing this. Okay, we'll get him on. It's working okay so far. Just a bit of a spray with contact cement. Waited a few minutes, and well, it's in the position that I wanted it to be in. It's going on nicely. About the best you can do with a cardboard dial. And if I put my microphone on, you'll be able to hear it just that little bit better. I didn't even have a chance to put my microphone on. This had to be done in an instant. Yeah, that's looking quite good, actually. That's coming up well. We'll let this dry while it's in the radio. And we might have a look at the loop, actually, while I'm waiting for this to dry off and make sure it's not going to move. It's contact cement. Quick grip as such, quick grip spray glue. Very good. It's good for stuff like this. It just had to be in around the millimetre down along the top, and that's pretty well exactly where it is. This end does look to be down slightly, but it's because it's been covered up at the end here with the fabric at the end. So all in all, it's very uniform right across. So the dial should be right. So pretty easy to put our pointer on, and then we can do our alignment, eh? Okay, let's leave that. We'll leave this for the moment. That's part of the cabinet, as well as this piece of perspex. So not yet for those. But what we can do next is have a look at this loop antenna. Just grab him. And what we're going to do here, there we go, is get these nails out, these little tacks. Now, there's one in there. They're in fairly solid too. They don't really want to come out, so I'm not real sure. You can loosen these by just putting the soldering iron tip on them, just heating them a little bit and just persuading them underneath. That will also get them out. So we've got one here, which is in there, but there's one there. There's one there, and these two are already out. Now it looks as though there's been other ones in other places, and these have been put in there. I don't know, maybe the other ones have fallen out or pulled through or something, but yeah, it'll be interesting to have a look in here, as well as we do have two small piano wire type hinges. Now I don't know whether we can resurrect those. Bit of a job there, I'm not real sure of what was on there originally, but yeah, we'll have a look at all this when we get this apart. I'll attack this, I'll come back. Okay, now what I wanted to do with this was, of course, get the coil off the backing plate, because I want to be able to straighten this out a little bit. It's fairly distorted and so forth. So yeah, straighten it out. Now we've got a 1K resistor across the winding here. Now what I've noticed is just there, the winding's broken. He's broken off this, which is our aerial input. So that aerial input, I'm sure that it should be connected, and you can actually see where, I think you can see that on the camera, where it's broken off. So there's a good find. So this wouldn't have worked anyway, and I certainly haven't moved the aerial or anything around while I was getting the back off. Certainly not enough to do that. So yeah, we've got to refit that fella. So a good find. Okay, I'm going to unsolder this, take this off, and we might try and give ourselves a little bit more wire here. Maybe put another small hole just a little bit closer so that we can attach straight onto the end of this fella. All right, more rust here. Now that fella, a hole in the back there, but that's a trimmer cap. And of course the hole doesn't line up either. You can see the screw in there, but where it was is about there, and you couldn't get to it. So when we put this back on and secure it somehow, we want that trimmer right in line with the hole, so we can, yeah, peek him out. Didn't know that fella was there. Haven't. I should. Let's have a. Yes, I should know, shouldn't I? So there he is. That's our trimmer that's inside. And as you can see, the loop is connected both sides. So it's certainly meant to be connected onto here. All right, we'll get this off and do the next stage. And then we can plug this in and align it. Oh, wow. This is one of these radios that, yeah, just keeps on giving, doesn't it? And by giving, I mean giving me grief. There was no continuity between here and the capacitor. And this wire here, all was soldered. The capacitor mounts under that screw. The old one was totally rusted and wasn't making contact with the trim cap. So to get that out, we've had to get an angle grinder in there and cut the head off it and put another screw in. Nearly every screw in this thing is it's very rusty. It must have been in a very damp situation somewhere. But anyway, as I said, keeps giving. It goes back on there like so. We'll put our wires through the backing board. Now the backing board, I have dampened it and straightened it the best I can. It's still not perfectly straight, but it is a lot better than what it was. And it will be better still when we put it in the lid. So, yeah. Okay, so there's our wires to connect here. We'll feed these through and we'll get this in position. Now, when this goes together, here's our screws for the lid. Well, I don't know whether they were springs or guides or what they were, but yeah, that's not going to be an easy job. That means removing the covering, which I'm not doing that. So I think I'll just take those off. Both of them are broken. I don't know what they are. I have no information on this whatsoever. Can't find out any information. So I think I'll try and unscrew those, take those sharp little bits of wire off, and leave it as is. But for the moment, I want really, for our testing, all we need is this in position. Today we're taking a look at Carl's national radio, and we're going to try and do an alignment on this, IFs and the RF. Hopefully it all goes as planned. Let's get into it. A 450, no, not 455. We're running on 460 with these. So, so it says in the manual and the schematic. We've got some wire hanging around here on. I think that's. Not sure whether that's oscillator or RF. We'll check this out, and then we do the RF alignment and get the dial in some sort of order. Now, since you've seen it, I've glued the dial on, and yeah, she runs from right there and goes right through, and it should match up with these numbers here. That's the only spots we've got, as long as it's edge to edge, and that's it. Right on the numbers. So there is frequencies down here. So we're looking at 600, which is there. Okay, so I'll show you on this old dial. And we're looking at probably 1400, which is right there. All right. So we've got the numbers written there for us. So it shouldn't be too bad a job, really. Okay. I also have the our lead-based aerial loop, which you've probably seen me fix. We put another resistor in here and tidied it up. It's reattached to the back panel the best it can be. Cleaned the fittings up, and yeah, just did some general maintenance on it. So that has to be connected for the radio to work properly, and with AGC and all sorts of things. We'll go into that later. Two battery terminals, they're your 245 volt terminals, and of course positive and negative are joined on one of them. We'll find out which one that is. Normally you would just attach two batteries, and our 1.5 volt filament supply for the batteries. Now over there I've got a speaker. Here I've got the old universal AVO meter. It's a good thing. So this dial pointer is really strange. It can sit there and operate, or it can sit there. Really strange how it just runs in the track along the back. Anyway, let's connect up the speaker and get this radio going, and then have a look at the instructions. Yes, I've got alignment instructions on this radio. Let's have a look. I've put a jumper lead on these because the positive and negative are connected together in the radio, but so that I put the power supply on the right ones here, which is positive this side, negative over here, I just put a cable in there, a jump cable to just, make it easier. All right, speaker's hooked up. Power supply is on 1.5 volts at 300 milliamps. Now, I don't know whether the radio's off or on or what there. So we'll connect up our plus and minus on the 1.5 volt, and that is our valve filament voltage on this radio. Okay, turn him on, and nothing's happening there, so obviously it's not drawing any current. Okay, now it's on there and it drew current. Now it's holding still at about that must be off. That's back on again. Okay. So that's off. So 290 milliamps and 290 milliamps. So I don't quite understand this. Yeah, it is going through dropping resistors, not making any difference there at the moment. Okay, we'll leave it on there. Now, the high tension. I'll turn my bigger power supply on. And our high tension, sorry about the shake of the camera there. Volume is turned down at the moment. Plus on here, minus over here. Right. And that it's not turned on at the moment, by the way. Just getting things in some sort of order. Okay, let's turn the HT on. All right, it's on there. We got noise. We have noise. We have lots of noise.
Self-sufficient country in the world. No one else could aspire to that.
And of course,
still got everything, but we don't own it all. We've been giving it away. But we're the only self-sufficient, self-resilient country. We could put warships around our.
Okay, well that's working. Working well. What do we got down here? ABC. And of course, we got all sorts of things. If I turn a light off, or turn two lights off, there you go. Nice and quiet. Turn that one on. We might run just on the one lamp on the right-hand side there, I think. I'm going to have to make a linear power supply for these LED lights, I think. They've got a built-in DC-DC inverter in them, and yeah, it's a horrible thing. But that works. Okay, that's good. Everything's working. Now, we need a signal generator. Well, that's a handy start. We need a dummy antenna, which our dummy antenna, I will just grab. Our dummy antenna it's an AM loop. There you go. And we're connecting it to the generator when we're doing the RF align, not the IF. Okay, a 0.01 mic capacitor in line to do the IF. Now, I have one of those cables already made up. There's a little cap in there, and we just hook him onto wherever we want to go and feed our signal in. A 5-turn loop for the signal circuits. Well, yeah, you just saw that. And an alignment tool. That'll be handy. Okay. Volume control, full on. Well, probably not yet. Now, the injection loop, which it's talking about there, it says to be situated 12 inches from the receiver and parallel to the receiver loop in the lid. Well, there's our loop. It's not in the lid at the moment. We'll probably retune when it all goes back in, but I don't think it'd make too much difference. Number 1, to the grid of 1T4. Now I'm thinking that means pin number 6, IF stage. Okay. Before we go any further there, this is where we're starting. Number 1, pin number 6 of our last stage. Okay, so this is the stage before it goes to the detector. This is the one we'll be starting with to align this. We then go to number 2, pin 6, and align this one here. And that's our 2 IF transformers. Okay, that one and that one. Frequency, 460 kilohertz. Okay, 0.01 in series with the generator. So we hook our generator to pin number 6 through the cap, and the gang plate's fully out, fully open. So let's do that. Fully open. Okay. And then we adjust the primary of the second IF transformer. That's the one closest to the audio end that I showed you. And then the secondary, okay, which is underneath. We start at the top here. Our RF comes in, goes to here, goes to here, goes to here, detected, and audio out. So that's how this one's arranged. Okay, and then we do the same. Now it says to the grid of the 1R5, which is this one here. Okay, our second IF, our first IF amplifier. And as you can see, pin number 6, it says pin number 4. Pin number 4 is not connected on these. So I don't quite know about that. But anyway, we'll go to pin 6 and exactly the same as the first one. Okay. And then that's it. That's our IF alignment done. Then we start on, the proximity loop, and we do the 1400 and the 600 kilohertz, and we just, align, but we'll get there. We'll get there very shortly. Okay. I better move the paper away from my soldering iron there, otherwise there could be a problem. Right. We have it there. Now, I'm going to turn the power supply off while I'm doing this. Now we're starting with this 1T4 here and aligning this transformer right here. Okay, that's the last IF in that sequence. So let's start, and we've got to go hook on to pin 6 under here of that fella there. Okay, so we're now doing this transformer, which on our circuit, that's the point where we are now. So we're tuning this fella up. We're tuning this fella up for maximum signal. Okay, going through here. So let's turn him on. And our filament on. There we go. Turn our HT on, and we're away. And let's give ourselves some level at 460. And okay, we have level. Let's connect our ground, our generator, and this one. There we go. And okay. Okay, don't you hate that noise? Just a minute. Set modulations. Supposing we go 400 hertz. Okay? Frequency 400 hertz. No, I want frequency 400 hertz. Okay, that's better. Okay, and level. Okay. Now take him down a bit. We're on full volume there, so we've got to peak him out on the meter. We get everything right. Okay. She's fully peaked there. Let's turn the speaker off so we can hear ourselves think. I'll grab an alignment tool and we'll start doing this one. You might be able to see the meter a little bit better there. Let's align this fella. Now the top of these are sort of like a little chisel, so that's the type of tool I'm using. Okay, see what we can get out of this one. Is it going to turn? Yes. There we go. So not much different to when we first started out. Let's tip him up. If I can keep everything intact here. And adjust the bottom. There we go. Okay. That's the first one done. we did get a peak. Okay. Second one. Same thing. Move forward a valve to the 1R5, number 6. I'll turn the power off and off, so there's no power on this. We don't need anything going wrong. And number 6 of the next one is over here, and which would be this fella here, number 6 of the 1R5. Let's see what we've got there. Back on there, HT on, and where's our loose connection here? Our ground wire is a problem here. There we go. Now, let's turn our speaker off. And we'll back off our signal. Okay, we're getting down to the microvolts there now. This is good. And he's peaked right there. Let's go underneath. And of course it'll carry on with me connections here. Try and get a good point there somewhere. There we go. Got him. Let's peak him up. That's it. Job done. We can disconnect that. Job done. This is a very sensitive radio, by the way. It really wants to pick up something. Yeah. Always good. All I've got there is interference. Okay, well, we know the IFs are now right. Let's go on to the RF alignment. Now, this is where we use our loop, okay? Set the radio on 1400, well, signal gen on 1400, and of course, the radio dial on 1400. and inject the loop, and we've got to set the pointer to 1400, which we just did. Adjust the oscillator loop and the RF trimmers for maximum. Okay, so first of all we find where it is and adjust everything. Okay, and we'll set him around about there somewhere. That should pick up okay. It's not 11, recall 12, and it's 1400. Okay, now let's go to 1400. Where are we? Down this end, Baz. Okay. Okay. 1400 is right there. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, believe it or not, that is spot on. That is spot on 1400. So we don't need to adjust the oscillator, which is that little fella at the back. We've got a trimmer here. Now, it says adjust for maximum. So let's do that. Can I get... There we go. And that's maximum there. And that's it. We've only got the one trimmer and the oscillator trimmer. It's on frequency. We've peaked RF wise. So now, oh, that's a horrible noise. Now let's go to 600, obviously, and do the same thing and adjust everything. Well, adjust. We've got to check the slug in the oscillator coil and adjust whilst rocking the gang backwards and forwards through the signal, as we know. Now, the oscillator coil is, can we get in? He's right up the back there. Okay, so we've got to get into him and adjust him to sit this thing right on 600. Let's do that. 600 is right there. I'll put the Jenny on 600. And that's on 600, but a bit low on. And there he is. Wow. We'll turn that off, turn that up. That is dead on 600. In fact, it could, we'll do a little bit of peaking there, but not much. There we go. That's it. That's all there is to the alignment on this radio. Okay, let's turn a few things off and see if I can hear anything. If we turn the lights off, we probably won't. Should get a station back here somewhere, our local.
NSW says that it hopes the state will continue a high level of consultation with the sector. Health experts are warning Orange residents not to put COVID safety on the back burner ahead of the holiday season, when cases typically increase. It comes as a new survey reveals less than half of Australians say they would test for COVID-19 if experiencing symptoms, while many say they...
Now we've got a trimmer in the lid, which is that little fellow there. I'll just get the lid out. Now what I'm doing is adjusting that trimmer for maximum signal. That's it. And that's about it there. Okay, I'm just doing that one by ear.
Big towns in the Central West. Lachlan has been in the business for 18 years and continues to always provide excellent service for all. I can't wait to get this thing out outside. This thing really wants to perform. It's picking up some distant stations in here that, well, normally you can't get, but there's, as I said, a bit of interference. Now, I'll get a knob and put on this because every time I touch it, of course, it's lowering the signal a little bit. Now, also here, we've got an aerial, external aerial, earth and aerial. Okay, on here. Now, I do have an outside aerial, which comes in on a coax, which is on one of those. So let me hook a couple of jumper leads up to here and see if we can get some outside stuff on this thing. You can hear some stations, but you can't quite make them out. They're fairly distant from where I am. More rubbish. Ball 1 over, and just about ball 128, 129, you could see he was struggling. Went off straight away. His 6 overs, 1 for 22. So we've got Nathan Lyon with ball 3, and Mitch Marsh who's now ball 2 overs. He had 1 over from Travis Head yesterday. That was fairly uneventful. What have you liked about Pierre Rowley?
That's a staggering $1 million every hour, 24 hours a day.
Nah, guys. So anyway, I'm really keen to see this thing performing outside. Okay, so we will do that as we go along. The next thing is put the loop in the box. Let's do a bit of casework, and yeah, that's it. It's one very nice performing radio. It's really good. And then of course there's the battery hassle. 45-volt batteries, yeah, we can't buy them. I'm well in the midst of trying to sort of make up a cheaper alternative with a small inverter, so it will fit in either battery case. Yeah, I'll keep us in the loop with that as to how we're going to go, but at the moment we need batteries. So if you need 45 volts, 5 9-volters is about the only way of going. So you're going to have to buy 10 9-volt batteries and string them together. Might be the only alternative for this in the short time, but yeah, I'll keep this informed. Righto, guys, that's a wrap for this one. It's fully aligned, working lovely. Carl will be very happy with this radio. It's certainly a goer, providing I can do a good job on the case, of course. Yeah, there's not many people on this channel that can beat, on YouTube, that can beat Mr. David Tipton. He's, and Donny's old radio shed. Yeah, he does some pretty nice cabinet restore. So between those two, oh, geez, I'm not up to their level, so I'll just try and do what I can and see how she looks in the end. Righto, guys. I'll please like and subscribe if you feel you would like to see more of these, and hit the bell if you want to be notified when the next one comes up. Okay, until next time, bye for now.